What is up, guys? How are y'all doing today? So, the anime for this just got announced, and I am very excited. The studio that did Demon Slayer is doing it, so it's gonna be dope. Like what else do I have to say? Anywho, we're jumping straight back into it. He quietly endured the numbing cold and the hour alone with calm, deep breaths. As the saying goes, good things come to those who wait. A strong point of his or not, he was astonishingly patient. It was certainly helping him out in this moment. Nothing beats a rainy day, I'm telling you. Those are the best days. She, on the other hand, was livid. The profile of the transfer student had been explained to her on her way to the meeting room. She was told he had lived his whole life up in the mountains without any electricity. That meant more than half of civilized society would have been an utter mystery to him. What a miserable level of isolation. How is this even possible in post-war Japan? He's like Robinson Crusoe. She had every right to be angry. His village had apparently remained isolated in the mountains for many years. Contact with villages in the foothills of the mountains only occurred once a month or so, which was unfathomable in modern Japan. Although expressways and Japan Rail, though national railways, now span the country like arteries, it wasn't entirely impossible for mountain villages like his to exist. But she couldn't imagine how someone born in such circumstances would think or live. When you say no electricity, you mean in general, right? Like, he must have had access to a public phone. Apparently not. He mentioned how shocked he was by the phones when he started living here. I kid you not. He said, "Wow, telephones are so useful." Couldn't really deny that, could I? She shot a sidelong glare his way as he laughed. It seemed that the naivety of the country boy had cheered up Mr. Yamashiro a bit. They probably didn't have police officers either. My family home is up in the mountains, so it's not inconceivable they wouldn't have electricity. But he doesn't even know what school is? Nope. He'd heard of them, but this is apparently his first time visiting one. Maybe that's why he's nervous. He wasn't very talkative. He's almost, what would you call it, feral? Like a boy raised by wolves. I suppose that makes this a safari. Hey, you're scaring me, Ozaki. I was joking. Go easy, okay? And don't worry, I got the feeling from talking to him that he's a nice kid. He was almost like, I don't know, a cute little animal that doesn't speak human. Your jokes and metaphors aren't helping. As she gave her blunt reply, she tried to simulate in her mind what life without electricity would be like, but the thought of it took her sour mood from bad to worse. After all, it was a world she had never known. She could understand why the teachers had given up. She, too, wanted to give up and return to her warm bed, but her good-for-nothing pride was holding her hostage. Not only did the teachers believe she was up to the task, but she also believed she could do it. It wasn't that easy to go back on her word, no matter how bad things looked after the fact. She walked along the hallway, the rain pattering in the background. The meeting room was already in sight. With a furrowed brow, she fixed her long hair in anticipation of meeting the unknown stranger within. Her elegant strides were like those of a confident general going into battle. Ozaki?
君を信頼して
I
る僕
believe
だ
in
け
you
ど
and all, but I'll
念の
say
た
it
め確
again.
認しておく
Be
よ
nice, okay?
なんていう
Can you
か
at least try to smile?
優しくね
作り笑いは苦
I'm
手
bad
で
at
す。
faking smiles,
一応
but
努力
I'll
し
do
てい
my
るつもりで
best.
すが。
ああ
Really?
そうなんだ
That's a relief.
それはよかったいや
I
ー
really
本当よ
mean
か
it.
った
It's good to know
青
you're
崎
not
君にも苦手なものっ
good
て
at
あったんだ
everything.
ね
Mr. Yamasiro's shoulders slumped the second they reached the meeting room. As he put his hand to the door, his eyes seemed to say to her, "Be nice, please." This only made her more irritated.
分かってるわよ。
I already know I'm not the friendliest looking person in the world,
で
but
も笑顔
I
なんて
can't
意
just
識し
make
て作
myself
るものじゃ
smile
ない
at
ん
the
だし。
drop of a hat.
大体そういう
You
イン
should have
スタン
asked
トな
Toby
人付き合いな
Maru
ら飛び丸の方が向いてる
That's
っ
what
て。
you were after. She sighed about her social shortcomings, but then it occurred to her that being called into school on a day off while sleep deprived wasn't anything to smile about anyway. She also thought the person responsible for this mess would be better off attending elementary school. Shots fired. It might not be his fault, but neither was it her duty or obligation to do the teacher's work for them. At the very least, they could have used their brains and organized all this on a normal school day, another complaint she wanted to voice later.
いや、
I
という
hate
か
him
敵。
already. He's my
なんで
sworn
あろうと
enemy and I
敵。
haven't even met him.
悪いけど
Sorry, but I
上
couldn't care
場
less
酌量
about
以前に
his
敵。
extenuating circumstances.
間が悪いのはお
You
互い
think
様
this
っていう
isn't
か。
awkward for me too? Honestly, why did this have to
なんで寄り
happen
目よってこん
when
な
I'm
忙
so
しい時
busy?
に。
Yeah, I got a bed to get back to. Her pounding headache from a lack of sleep had boosted her aggression by 10%. No matter how harmless the guy on the other side of the door may be, anyone who disturbed her sleep was the enemy. And just as she was reaching peak annoyance, Mr. Yamashiro opened the door to the meeting room. The room slowly slid into view. She didn't care for formalities, just looked straight ahead and stormed into the room, and found herself face to face with a most unusual opponent. Before we go on, let's see from another perspective. Turning back the clock just a little. You don't have to do anything. For some, these words are a priceless luxury. For others, they are unbearable torture. For the proactive girl, it was definitely the former, though she be too suspicious of the motives of anyone giving her such a gift to accept. For the passive boy, it was definitely the latter, a bitter thorn that made him homesick, though at this very moment his mind was still distracted with the wait for his face to reveal any discontent. He maintained perfect posture as he stared at the gray sky. He had already waited a whole hour, but figured they must have had their reasons for making him wait. And as long as he had the sound of the rain to soothe him, he could keep on waiting.
でもそろ
It
そろ9
must
時を
be
過ぎる
9
のか
o'clock already. Yeah, that seems
どう
about
なん
right.
だろ
He had been vaguely keeping track of the time as he listened to the rain. Due to the holiday, the school building was completely silent, except for the patter of the rain on the window. The mood felt as damp as the air. It was then he heard the heavy clatter of footsteps approaching.
うよかった忘れ
Finally,
られているかと思
I
った
thought they'd forgotten about me. He could hear two sets of footsteps, one heavier set belonging to an adult. He breathed a sigh of relief as the door slid open.
すまないね
So
随
sorry
分
to
とお
keep
待た
you
せしちゃっ
waiting.
て
The first person he saw was a man wearing glasses and an awkward smile. That's Mr. Yamashiro, the one who brought me here.
ってあれ
Hey, where's
里中先生いない
Satonaka?
んですか
I told him to keep you company.
ひどいな
He shouldn't have left you
話し
here.
相手
Mr. Yamashiro scratched his head, looking increasingly apologetic. And then, from behind him, with a tight-lipped expression that made it clear she didn't want to be there, a dark-haired girl with a determined look in her eyes appeared. Sojiro gulped. The sound of the rain on the window faded into nothingness. That's when he knew. This was how it felt when time stood still. She blinked quickly a few times, as if taken aback. Why was anyone's guess? The boy was everything she expected a naive country boy to look like. However, she felt something she couldn't understand. His eyes widened slightly, as if taken aback. The reason was obvious. Putting his feeling into words was a different matter altogether, so we will never know exactly what he experienced in that moment. That's when it hit him. He sensed he'd been touched by the hands of destiny.
紹介するよ。
Allow me to
彼が転入
introduce the
生
two
の
of you.
静木
This
宗十
is
郎
the
君
transfer student I mentioned, Sojiro Suzuki.
で、こっちの
And
彼
this
女
is the
が
girl
静
that
木
will
君
be
の
showing
案内
you
役。
around.
うちの生徒会長で
She's our
休
student
日
council
をして
president.
新しい仲間の案内役を買って出てくれた
Just
青
to
崎
welcome
青
you.
子君だ。
Her name is Aiko Ozaki. I love the music so much. His voice and the sound of the rain seem distant. This is how they first met. Such was their start, for better or worse, like the ephemeral beauty of fireworks. It was commonly believed among the students that Aiko was always in a foul mood. But this gossip was 90% prejudice, as Aiko simply didn't have time to be irritated 24/7. The reality was she simply didn't want to explain herself all the time. I feel that. And therefore seemed angry about something, obvious or not. This idle gossip did, however, lead to her earning the title of one of the school's 7 deadly threats. 7 deadly threats is crazy. The remaining 10% of the gossip was right on the mark. Aiko herself often had the feeling that her tendency to feel animosity toward harmless things was akin to what a chronic headache sufferer might experience. Today fell under that 10%. For today, her anger was pure, and her childish and selfish display was befitting of her actual age. The meeting room was dimly lit, awash in the colors of the rain. To reduce electricity costs, school regulations forbid the use of lights during the day. What? You're a school, brother. You're a school. Turn them lights on. This was the setting the three of them found themselves in. Her first impression was that his calm demeanor reminded her of a field of wildflowers. In spite of his perfect posture, his overall air felt placid, tame even. And though describing him as meek would be going too far, at the very least, he was passive. Even through his uniform, she could see that he was thinner than average. His dark hair was unkempt, and he came across as a wholly forgettable boy. If she had to look at him in a more positive light, she would describe him more a young man than a boy. It was his calm demeanor that made him seem more mature. Was that the cause of Aiko's reasonless reaction? He seemed almost too at home in the meeting room, and she was left with the impression that it was her and the teacher, not this outsider, who were the guests here. She felt an unidentifiable aggravation building within her, almost as if her right to be here was in question. Aiko felt herself raising her natural defenses.
信じられない。
What's with me?
私、
Am I
今
really
化け
this
物が
angry
起こって
for
んの？
no reason? She hated not understanding things, her own emotions in particular. It pained her less than you would imagine for a perfectionist like her, but it still nagged her like a thorn in her side.
いやーほら青崎くん挨拶してあげなくち
Why
ゃ
don't you why don't you introduce yourself? Mr. Yamasiro's attempt to relieve the tension was equally irritating.
挨拶？
Introduce myself, huh? After casting a nasty glance in the teacher's direction, Aiko turned to face the boy. From an outsider's perspective, it might have looked like a stare down. He's like, what's going on here? And in that instant, the culmination of her emotional state hurtled toward the innocent boy and skewered him.
いや待たせたね
Again, sorry for
静
the
木
wait,
くん
Suzuki. Hearing his name, Sojiro came to his senses. His stunned gaze shook loose. He took a deep breath to clear his head. Chalking it up to nerves, Mr. Yamashiro broke out a smile and turned to the girl standing beside him.
紹介するよ
I'll do the
彼が転入
introductions
生
then.
の静
This
木
is the
宗
transfer
次郎くん
student, Sojiro Suzuki.
でこ
And
っ
this
ち
is
の
our
彼女
student
が
council
静木くん
president
の案
who
内
came
役
in on her day
う
off
ちの生
just
徒
to
会
show
長で
you around.
休日をして
Her name is
新しい仲間の
Aiko
案内
Ozaki.
役を買って出てくれた青崎青子くんだ
Having been introduced by Mr. Yamashiro, the girl took a step forward. Her eyes were merciless. Her stare, an unspoken threat to violently trample her opponent. Sojiro, on the other hand, managed to keep his own composure despite the shock at how confrontational she appeared. He had never been greeted quite like this before, but supposed, mistakenly, that this was how people treated each other in the city. The exchange must have looked quite dramatic to an onlooker. A girl ready to brawl. An earnest country boy, desperate to understand. It was a murderous limbo, especially for anyone in the room with them. Like Mr. Yamashiro, for example. While he had thought he had made the right decision in choosing an honor student to help him out, she was in an inexplicably bad mood, and the tension in the air was undeniable. It was this moment that he realized his failure. His realization had come far too late. One false move, and this girl, for whom no problem was too large, would becoming a storm that would rock the very foundations of the school. Just as the almighty Joker card could bring either fortune or disaster, the sole teacher who had been present at the time would come to bear the blame for the scandal that ensued.
あ
Wow, you two
ー
really
いけて
seem
る
to have hit
二
it
人とも
off.
気は合うようだねそれじゃあ
I suppose I
僕は
can
この
leave you
辺でいい
two
かな
to it then. Yeah, I'm just gonna go. Mr. Yamashiro laughed nervously as he crept toward the door.
僕は職員室にいるから
I'll be in the
終わった
faculty
ら来るよう
room.
に
Stop by when you're finished.
いいかい青崎く
You'll
ん
be alright,
くれ
won't
ぐれ
you?
もくれぐれ
Ozaki?
もだぜなんていうか
You're the
生徒
student
会長
council
としての
president.
度量の
Don't
広
let
さ
me
を
down.
この際僕に信じさせてほしいかな
Mr. Yamashiro left, leaving the two in a lock-eyed state, one in which one set of eyes was doing all the glaring. All that remained in the room was an artless boy and a cross-armed guarded girl. The two lingered in silence. They resembled shogi players agonizing over their first moves, though it was only Aiko who was reading so much into the situation. She decided to put her irritation aside for the time being. With no reason to feel revulsion for him in the first place, she sighed deeply and faced Sojiro.
まあいいわ。山城
Whatever.
先生が
It's
ヒ
not
ルアン
like
ドン
this
な
is the
の
first
は今
time
に
that
始ま
Mr.
ったことじゃな
Yamashiro
いし。
landed me in it.
それで
So,
あなた名前は
what's your name again? Her tone was nothing if not reproachful, though he had done nothing to offend her. But the boy failed to pick up on it. Incapable of such venom himself.
ああ、静木宗十郎かな。
I'm Sojiro Suzuki,
君は青
he
崎さんだった
replied.
ね。
And you're Miss Aozaki, right? For whatever reason, he came across as happy in his response.
さんはいいわ。柄じゃ
Not
な
the
いから。
miss. That's not my style.
こっちはしずきくんでいい？
Is Suzuki fine?
いいって何
What do you
が？
mean?
だから呼び方。
What do you mean?
く
What do
ん
I
付け
mean?
でいいかって聞いてるの。何？お
Hello?
かしなこと言った？
Did I say something weird?
いや、すごく。
Yeah, very. The boy replied immediately, as if it was a natural response, but quickly second-guessed himself.
いや、いいんだ。
Never mind. That must be normal here.
静木くんで
You
頼
could
む。
call me Suzuki.
君
You
は
mind if
青
I
崎
call
でいい
you
ね。
Ozaki?
よろしく。
Suit yourself. She followed her blunt reply with a swift turn away from him. While she was hardly thrilled at the prospect of the task at hand, it had been entrusted to her, and it was her personal policy to see it through to the end.
悪いけど優
Sorry,
しくして
but
あげる
I'm
気は
not in
な
the
いか
mood for pleasantries.
ら。時間も惜しいし、手
Time is
早く行
short,
くわよ。
so let's get this over with.
それは助かる。やっぱり
Sure.
時間は大切
I
だ
know。your time is valuable. Aiko's blunt rancor was lost on him once again. Her eyebrows are so funny to me when she's mad. Humans tend to be overly conscious about being ignored, whatever form that takes. But despite being peeved at landing none of her attacks, Aiko did her best to act professional and directed her guest into the hallway. You know what? I think this is going to be the perfect place to end it. Yeah, I'm gonna end it here. I really want to thank you guys for watching, and I will see you all in the next one. Peace!